In this practical, we are going to see how to connect your PHP with MySQL using WAM server. We are going to create a database and then we are going to create a table in the same database. Let us go ahead and see what we are supposed to do. When you open your WAM server, you can see something called as SQL Buddy. Sometimes when you are opening SQL Buddy, it will ask you username and password. So username is generally root. And password can be two options. Either there is no password or the password is blank. So in my case, as you can see, my host is localhost, my user is root, and my password is blank, that is nothing. So let us start writing the code very quickly. The first thing that you do is you declare three variables as I have done over here. $dbHost, $dbUser and $dbPass. dbHost for host name, which is my local host, dbUser for username, which is root, and dbPass for password, which is in my case nothing. So if you see over here, these are two single inverted commas. It is not a double inverted comma. It is just two single inverted commas. Now once this is done, the next thing you need to do is you have to create a connection object. So here my connection object is $con. How to create it? You have a method which is called as MySQL_connect. You pass this method three arguments, $dbHost, $dbUser and $dbPass. Now this will return true if the connection is successful. But if the connection is not successful, it will return false. Now let us assume that the connection is not successful and it returns false. So the logic that I have written over here is if not of con. So in case this is false, what is not of false? Not of false is true. So this will become true and the die statement will be executed. So die in single inverted commas could not connect, single inverted commas, complete dot MySQL_error and opening closing parenthesis because it is a method. And you close if. Then you say connection successful, because if you are not executing the die statement, it obviously means the value of this con object is true and the connection is successfully established. Now once this is done, this is the first part of our program. The next part says you are supposed to create a database. So for that, write a query. Take a variable called as $SQL and write a query, create database name. So here my database name is college. Then you execute the query. How to execute the query? MySQL_query. So whenever you are executing any query, you generally pass two arguments. One is your query itself, that is $SQL, and second argument is your connection object, that is $con. Then again I am using the same logic. If this is going to be false, then not of false is true. You will execute the die statement saying that you could not create the database college. Otherwise, outside if I am writing database college has been created successfully. BR is given only so that next command is executed on a new line. Now I define my query once again, but this time it is not a create database query, it is a create table query. So what is the query? Create table name. So my table name is department. Opening parenthesis, column name. So my first column name is DNO, that is department number, which is of type integer and which is also a primary key. So I have written primary space key, comma, again same thing, name of the second column, data type of the second column and any constraint that you want to add. So my second column is dname, which is varchar 40 and not null. Please note there is a space between not and null. Then in the same way I have written my third column, that is number of faculty. Please do not give any spaces in the column name. So I have given underscore if you can carefully observe. The data type is integer and it is again not null. Now once this is done, can I execute this query directly? The answer is no, I cannot execute this query directly. What is the reason for it? I first have to select my database. When you are working with your database, when you are executing the code on your database, you always execute one query which says use database name. So this method is going to do the same thing in background. So MySQL underscore select underscore DB, and you provide a single argument, that is name of your database. Now again I am using the MySQL underscore query method, but this time my query is going to change. It is a create table query. Again same, pass the query, pass the connection object, and use the same logic. If the result is not true, means something has gone wrong and your table could not be created. Otherwise, table has been created successfully and you close the connection. So that's it for this code. Let us quickly go over here. I have already saved this code in WAD projects as db1 and I'm going to execute it. So you're getting connection successful, database college created successfully, and table is also created successfully. Let us see in SQL Buddy if really this has happened. So yes, college database is there, and inside that department table is also there. You can see all the columns and all the data types. Now, if I go ahead and execute this again, what will happen? I will get the message as connection successful, but my database will not be created and my table will not be created because the database college exists already. So you cannot create two databases of the same name. So when you are showing this in practical exam, please note that you show the first output itself to your examiner, because the second output will always come like this, because now you have the database college. What is one way to do this? To get the output again, you delete the database college. You drop it as I'm dropping it over here. Okay. Now you execute the code again. It will get executed. So in case you close the window or something happens, just go to SQL Buddy, delete the database, that is drop database, and then again come here and execute it. Once again it will get executed. But if you execute the same code twice, it will not get executed, because you can create only one database with the same name. You cannot have two databases which are having identical name. That's it for this practical. Thank you.